that was his thing to do. He felt it was beneath him to read Everybody Poops. So he wanted to change up the book and pulled out a March 1985 Playboy magazine. Of course, in the ring was Scott Hunter. Scott was trying to get him to not read it, and then he figured out what date it was and asked him to look at the girl on page 38 and find out what the name was. And I believe it was Susan Hunter. And as soon as that got mentioned, Scott quickly grabbed the magazine and bolted out of the ring and to the back. So I'm assuming Susan might be his mother. And yeah, he didn't want that exposed. Muscle ended up reading the rest of the book to finish off the night. Your thoughts on Everybody Poops?
Interesting concept to you know to what they were doing, but hopefully it's a one-time thing. Again, I love the reference you made to the leapfrog as far as the muscle goes, because I mean, I could have easily, it would have played up the character even more. The Scott Hunter thing was kind of funny. I'm not sure where they're going with it, but I love the fact there's like a little, probably 6 or 7-year-old kid sitting front row as Muscles, first of all, reading Everybody Poops, and then secondly, brings out the Playboy magazine. So I think at one point, I forget who it was, but it was part of that wrestling trivia, and that same kid, and I think one of the members of Halal Beefcake had said something, and they're like, "Oh no, there's kids present. You can't say that." And right when they were saying that, the kid looked down like all of a sudden Santa Claus didn't exist anymore. But it was good times, and definitely added to the element of the weekend. It props to Smash for doing stuff like this, because it's besides the wrestling, it's a little more a bit of the fan experience that some of the other wrestling promotions may not do. But anyways, it makes for the entire weekend experience, and props to them for coming up with unique ideas. And I tell you, Muscle reading Everybody Poops is definitely a unique idea. So.
My name is The Muscle, Smash Wrestling's hottest free agent. I toss bodies and wheel hotties, and you're listening to the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast.
Excuse me. Sorry. Had something caught in my throat. We're back. So Muscle reading Everybody Poops was a highlight, I would say, of the weekend. And then we made it into night number 2 of the Northern Tournament. Unfortunately, even asking Dustin, Alan, or Scott Hunter, nobody was willing to give us a indication of what the 4 matches were going to be in the second round. And so we tried to guess it, and unfortunately my final 4, which was going to be Grayson, Kincaid, Tyson, and Sebastian, all went against each other in the first 2 matches. So we were entirely out on a limb on what was going to happen. But night number 2 did start off with Kincaid against Stu Grayson, and Kincaid ended up getting the victory. These two really work well together. Their styles, their size, just everything about them, top notch, with almost mirror image of each other, even though there's probably a lot of age and experience between them. What did you think of that match?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with regards to their styles go. I'm curious though. You say the difference in ages between them, so I'm gonna see if I can bring it up. So, sorry, I brought up Stu Grayson on Google, and apparently at one point his name used to be Stupefied, and then obviously Player Dos. But January 25th, 1989 is his birthday, so that would make he's not that old.
No,
what 30?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so Stu Grayson is 30, according to Google. Jason Kincaid. No, this is something. He was born in Honolulu, Hawaii.
We're considering I would take him more as being Scottish than...
Yeah. So former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. And as far as age goes, apparently he's a zombie. He's not listed as far as age goes. I'm going to keep trying to look that up.
Okay.
Twitter won't have it. Fandom. Hold on, I can check one more thing just to see. Holy crap! You should see what it looks like with hair. Holy crap!
Yeah, because he seems to have just hair on the sides, and he's tattooed the top of his head with like flames, almost
No.
Bam
If
Bam
you go to
Bigelow style.
prowrestling.fandom.com, he's got hair like almost like Robbie McAllister used to have. It's same sort of beard, same sort of hair up top, but he's got it braided on the sides. Kind of unique look. May
Interesting.
8th. May 8th, but it doesn't say anything. You began his professional wrestling career in 2003. Maybe he's older than friggin' Stu Grayson.
Hmm.
I'm going to keep looking if you want to continue.
Yeah, no problem. Uh, Definitely looks are deceiving, and so these two went at each other, and Kincaid got the victory over Grayson, and he advanced to the Fatal Four Way, and we then ended up seeing Tyson Dukes taking on Sebastian Suave. So we had two of the pillars going against each other, and this is somewhat what Kingdom has been wanting to see. What would Sebastian do when he's actually against one of his own pillar teammates? And would it be the Sebastian Suave that he loves and knows, or would it be the pillar version of Sebastian Suave? And it definitely was closer to the uh, ruthless Kingdom James style of Sebastian Suave that went against his pillar partner in Tyson Dukes. But at the same time, whenever the pillars go against each other, they love going all out and throwing down and having that competition. It doesn't matter their friendship or not and their uh, alignment with being a pillar. They hit hard each and every time. We've seen it when Tyson goes against Tarek. When Tarek went against Brent, we definitely saw it when Brent and I mean, Tarek and Sebastian went at each other, and they had that blood feud, literally blood feud, against each other while they were still pillars. And the alignment just does not matter. These two went hard at each other, and Sebastian never tapped out to the Boston Crab that Tyson had. But it ended when Tyson actually went for a knuckle lock and did the Boston Crab as a combination where Sebastian couldn't even use any limbs to crawl towards the ropes to get released, and it was too much for him. He ended up submitting. It kind of surprised me because with everything going on with Kingdom, I thought it would be a perfect opportunity for him to advance to the finals, maybe even win it, and that would put him theoretically against Tarek down the road, even at potentially uh, Super Showdown 7 in August, and that didn't happen. So Tyson ends up advancing to the Fatal Four Way. He left. Kingdom came down. He actually apologized to, well, actually, before that, he got in the ring and tried to get Sebastian up, and Sebastian wanted nothing to do with Kingdom at that moment, and even punched Kingdom. And that's when security got in there and tried to separate them. Kingdom said, "It's okay, get your hands off us. I just want to talk and apologize." And he felt that he was responsible for Sebastian losing because he wasn't by Sebastian's side to give him that extra moral support and, in the case of Kingdom, the extra advantage of cheating and distracting the referee for Sebastian to get that victory and advance. And he apologized and finally decided he's not going to get in between Sebastian and the pillars, but he just wants Sebastian to be that same ruthless guy that he is with him when he is with the pillars and not be two different people. And they sort of agreed. And as we know, winners get hugs. So instead of a handshake, they hugged it out. And then they looked around and wondered, why did we allow these security guys to touch us? And all hell broke loose. Sebastian and Kingdom just totally annihilated the guys doing security, and then they hugged again and left together. And so we have Kingdom and Sebastian on even ground. They're strong again. We'll have to see how Sebastian is with this attitude and incorporating it with the pillars in the future. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the match of Tyson and Sebastian, and then obviously the post-match melee and reunition of Kingdom and Sebastian?
I'll get to that in a sec. First, I've got some more information on Jason Kincaid. So, and this makes more sense actually. So his birthplace is Fayette County, West Virginia. So that makes a lot more sense because he doesn't look like anybody from Hawaii. So in-ring experience is 16 years, like I said, 2003, and he is 34 years old.
Oh, so he's actually older?
He's actually older than Stu Grayson.
Wow. Totally thrown up.
Yeah, so this is a theory right here. Never to trust Wikipedia all the time. But this is cagematch.net. And I'll just read this comment and then I'll go on to the Sebastian stuff. But anyway, somebody back in 2017 says his nickname says it all, the technical wizard. Agile, cunning, and charismatic to a fault, Kincaid is a gifted performer who could steal the show every night. Definitely have to agree with that statement. As far as Tyson versus Sebastian goes, like I said, this is one of these reasons why you hate or can hate Sebastian in the ring is because he knows how to play out that character so well. Him versus Tyson, very two technically sound, gifted athletes, but again, Tyson wins the match with a move I had never seen done before. And, Boston Crab with knuckles locked and everything else. And it was kind of cool because it kind of looked like almost like Tyson was swinging Sebastian, but also in the Boston Crab as well. So Sebastian didn't have the ability to tap out. He could move his legs, could move his arms. So he had to shout to the referee, that's it, I give up, And then post-match was interesting because, Kingdom comes out and all of a sudden I expect Kingdom to turn on Sebastian and be like, okay, well, here's your opportunity to, say you're sorry and make up. And now, now that you're sorry, hey, let's go in for a hug. And I pictured, Kingdom clotheslining him or punching him or kicking the crap out of him and setting up a match between the two at Super Showdown 7. And that didn't take place. Instead, they hug it out. And the next thing you know, they beat up security, AKA the Tyson Dukes Wrestling Factory guys. The power bomb that Kingdom gave to, and I want to say Jordan James, is that right?
Yeah, it was Jordan James.
Was probably one of the most loudest thuds I heard in the 2 days of wrestling that we saw at the Franklin Hornet Community Center. But Kingdom's, he's old school, so he's going to give it to you as far as, and it's probably as far as the students go too, just to be like, hey, this is your rookie year, so to speak. So we're going to make sure you want to be a wrestler. And maybe he wasn't, maybe he didn't mean to hit the power bomb that hard, but whatever the case may be, like I said, it's probably the loudest thud I heard, in the weekend. But interesting to see where they go from here. I like Sebastian with Kingdom as far as the characters go. I think it's old school kind of Bobby Heenan with any one of the Heenan family members. The two play off each other quite well. It's entertaining as a fan to go to a show and see the two of them together. And I'll say this on the show, I'm more of a fan of Kingdom and Sebastian than I am the Pillars. So, and that's not a knock against the Pillars. I'm just, as far as wrestling entertainment, goes, I'd rather see Sebastian with Kingdom than Sebastian with the Pillars. So, anyways, good match, surprising results, and your predictions are about as bad with this show as they are with WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah, I think logically, and my logic just doesn't seem to pan out. So only two of my final four advanced, being Kincaid and Tyson. And so the other matches were just like, okay, who's going to match up on that? And we had actually Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Psycho Mike Rollins. The Conscience did talk and laughed about the fact that he ended up advancing without really having to go through too much, even though he did beat himself up pretty good. And so one way or another, there was going to be a Mike that won this match, and in this case, it was Speedball Mike Bailey who got the victory. And after the loss, the Conscience did cheer up Mike Rollins before he left. but Mike Bailey